decide on our future, the need to improve living and working conditions right across our union is as acute as ever. This is what your forum and this week are all about. And this is what Eurofound also stands for.
It's a history where some countries are doing better than others, clearly, with big differences, and the gap has widened. That's why we discuss about convergence and why we discuss about upward convergence.
The rise of extremist and populist movements and parties across Europe is a strong testament to the devastating consequences of social regression.
Well, the mission it is really to bring evidence to promote a debate that is based on facts and figures, not just based on opinions, but our mission it is really to support policymakers when they want to develop better policies, and we want to bring the best academics, the best pieces of research that allow to facilitate a well-informed discussion.
It's about closing the gaps. We have so big gaps between member states and between groups, and I think this is really dangerous for a society and for the union. So this is the most important thing, to close the gaps.
This is a slightly different event in that we can take a step back from the day-to-day policy advice and look at the big picture. And of course that's very relevant as we are about to have a very big picture event towards the end of the week in Gothenburg, where we're looking at the pillar of social rights.
It's really thinking out of the box, looking backwards, what is the evidence, why didn't we achieve yet a real social Europe, how can we improve after the crisis the living and working conditions of people. One example, we have more atypical contracts for employees. What can we do about to have less working poor people?
I think the biggest social challenge for the European Union is the income gap between rich and poor. I think that we need to ensure that within society everybody feels that they aren't held back by barriers, and so that is why when you see the impact of the European Union in terms of a single market, in terms of common standards around employment, we're trying to create a level playing field here across the European Union that can allow talented people that work hard to do well. And I think really that's what this needs to be, about respect for diversity. Wherever you come from, whatever your background is, within the European Union, you need to have the opportunity to be able to make the best of yourself.
I have been serving as a Minister of Social and Labour Affairs for 4 years, and of course it meant a big responsibility for trying to persuade the other members of the government that it's very important, for example, to create better conditions for reconciliation of family and working life, to support women and mothers that they can combine both, have children and work at the same time.
We should really realize that we are talking about convergence within Europe, within a context of Europe actually converging downwards.
Social dimensions is becoming more visible. It was also always part of the EU, but now because of the situations that we are in, the social dimension is coming in front. So I hope that we will share not only the vision but also the action to implement those nice words.
I think there needs to be a very genuine commitment to emphasizing the role of social and employment policies, and to see them delivering on as well on competitiveness and on more inclusive growth in the European Union.
The role of the European Union is first of all to introduce this framework for convergence, and this week in Göteborg the heads of state will sign the pillar of social rights. This is a proclamation, and the role of the European Union has been to introduce this pillar, and then the role of the European Union, meaning the Commission but also Parliament, the Council, the Member States, will be to implement it.
As employers, we contribute by making sure that the policy framework is conducive to business and to employment creation.
Now, of course, we will go to Gothenburg and we will discuss with prime ministers, heads of state, labor ministers, the other stakeholders, NGOs, etc., to see what we can do. I mean, to make sure that the day after, from the day after, the phase of implementation starts in practice, and then there will be the third step, that is exactly this: what we can do after Gothenburg to make sure that social partners can really help public authorities and stakeholders in implementing and enforcing the 20 principles that are part of the social pillar, and this will be the most challenging contribution, of course, for us.
We cannot really have a united, equal and fair society unless we include all the different stakeholders in it, and that involves trade unions, employer organizations, local government, NGOs, everyone.
The Foundation Forum has provided a unique venue to discuss convergence in the European Union. What we mean with convergence and why the social imbalances that has been created among the European countries as a result of the crisis are a problem for Europe and its sustainability.
So our ambition is that to all our research, and mainly with our surveys, then Eurofound has developed regular, recurrent, important surveys. How can that continue to feed not only the discussion, but how can create support upward social convergence in Europe?